Hello and welcome to Enjoy English School. I'm Stevie.
I'm Betty.
Today we're looking at part 2 of our origins lesson where we learn where things came from. And we're talking about the historic rise of rock, paper, scissors.
干嘛？这个是很好玩的啊，剪刀石头布。
Because it sounds like a documentary, right?
没错。
The historic rise of the Roman Empire.
没错，就是 rock, paper,
So the historic rise of rock, paper, scissors.
有点俏皮啦，有点反转，反差萌。
So yesterday we learned that a similar game called bird, snake, human, or bird, snake, people, person,
human.
Whatever. Yeah. Was played in China like 2,000 years ago.
没错。
More than 2,000 years ago. And then around the 17th century, so that's around
16多年.
Yeah, the 1600s. There was a similar game. It spread to Japan, and then it evolved. It changed into a game called Junkin, which is basically the Japanese version of paper, scissors, stone. And then it went to Europe in the 1920s. In 1927, it was written about in a French magazine. 5 years later, in 1932, Americans learned it from a New York magazine. So the New York Post, New York Times.
New York Times.
And so this game has been around, parts of it, for a long time.
没错。
So today we're going to continue with the second part of our article.
The historic rise of rock, paper, scissors. On the surface, rock, paper, scissors appears to be a simple game of luck. However, a study shows that people can actually increase their chances of winning by employing some psychological strategies. First, use the win, stay, lose, shift principle to predict your opponent's next move. If they play paper and win, they are likely to repeat the action in the next round. On the other hand, if they throw rock and lose, they will probably move to the next action in the sequence, which means they are going to play paper. Another winning strategy is to throw paper when you face an inexperienced player. Most of them start by playing rock because their hands are already shaped like a rock before the game begins. Also, since the name of the game starts with rock, it's often the first choice that comes to their mind. The final strategy is to psychologically control your opponents. For example, you can tell them that you will play rock and do exactly what you say. It's very likely that they won't expect you to be that fearless and honest. So, they may throw rock or scissors. After arming yourself with these techniques, you can greatly improve your chances of winning the game.
So looking at today's article, on the surface, rock, paper, scissors appears to be a simple game of luck. Okay, on the surface, meaning on the outside, what you can see on just the surface, the little outer part, rock, paper, scissors appears to be. It looks like a simple game of luck, right? You're just lucky.
没错。
Yeah.
那他就说呢，在表面上，所以表面上同学帮我把后面 appears to be 画线，因为在表面上，剪刀石头布看起来好像是 appear to， 就是这个事情不是真的是这样，可是看起来好像就是 appearance 表象，对，好像是就是单纯运气的游戏吧。
However,
转折了。
But a study shows that people can actually increase their chances of winning by employing some psychological strategies.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, so, pardon me. So a study shows that people can actually increase your chances, improve, have a better chance
没错。
of winning by employing. And in this case, employing doesn't mean like to hire somebody. But this is where this word comes from. When you employ somebody for work, what are you doing? You're using them.
Exploiting them.
You're using them to
perform a task.
Do a service or do something that helps you or your company. So you employ them.
对.
So here, think of employ as use. Yeah. So do you have employment? Do you have a job? It actually means are you being used? 你被雇佣吗？
想一想，确实也是这样。
Even in Chinese, right?
对，就使用、雇用都有用。
So it's a good translation. So employ actually means use.
用的意思。
Yeah.
对。
So you can increase your chances of winning by using some psychological, some brain tricks, brain strategy. Strategy is when you have a plan to do something, but maybe this plan, you're thinking of different parts. Okay, you're using strategy.
就策略，它就这里就转折，它说然而呢，就有一个研究显示说呢，我们可以增加我们赢的几率，如果我们用一些我们刚才讲到 employ， 它是雇用或者是使用的意思，要么你雇用人的时候，你是在用人嘛，那你翻成使用就在用东西，这里是东西，所以我们翻成使用。那你可以借由使用一些就是心理上的控制、操纵别人策略游戏，让你呢可以增加你的胜率。
Yeah. So, what are these strategies? We're going to learn them in just a second. Okay, first, use the win, stay, lose, shift principle to predict your opponent's next move. Okay, a lot of big words here, right? But it's actually very simple. First trick, use the win, stay, lose, shift. Win, stay.
这个我们翻成赢就留着。
Okay. And lose, shift. Shift means to change direction.
对，输就换一个。
Yeah. So win, stay, lose, shift, principle. A principle really is an idea. You know, it's an idea that people have. So think of it as kind of a plan or an idea of, okay, and they say use this to predict your opponent's next move. When you predict something, this is like 算命, like telling the future.
预测.
I predict in the future you are going to be rich, Betty.
Really?
Yeah.
If I'm not?
Well, it was just a prediction.
Okay.
I was right. You must have done something wrong. So my prediction didn't work.
So it was my bad.
So to predict your opponent. Now, an opponent, look at the OPPO. Opposite.
Oppo. 我以为你要讲 Oppo.
No, I wasn't going to say
Opposite.
Oppo. No, not a phone. OPPO in Latin is like
对面.
Yeah, your opposite. So your opponent is你的对手, the person you're competing against.
没错.
Okay. So how are we going to kind of guess our opponent's next move? Okay.
那等一下就会解释到，但他就说呢，他先讲这个专有名词，就是说赢就留，然后输就换。他这个 principle 是一个原则，它这个原则是用来干嘛？后面其实有解释，不知道这个词是什么东西，但没关系，后面有解释。基本上就是预测你对手的下一个动向。
If they play paper, okay, now we're going to explain win, stay, lose, shift. If they, the opponent, 你的对手, if they play paper and win, they are likely to stay. They are likely to repeat the action in the next round.
没错.
So if you play paper and win, the next round, you're probably going to play paper again.
没错.
Okay? That's what this says.
没错，这个就是赢就留的意思，就是说，如果呢，你出布， 那我们出布，然后我们出剪刀。如果你出布，然后你赢了呢，你们就比较有可能，这个同学要记得，我们用人，然后 be likely to 就会重复这个动作。下一次呢，你还是想要出布，因为你赢了。
你刚说你说布，可是你出剪刀。
对。
Actually, I did the same thing.
我看到。
If they play paper,
对，大家应该很错乱吧？大家觉得自己英文不好，哎，这个是 paper。
你可以怪我，可以说是被我害的。
对，确实有点被影响。
So if they play paper and win, they will probably play paper again.
没错。
Okay. On the other hand, there's also a good way to 换另外一只手。Right?
另一方面的感觉。
Yeah, 另一方面，换另外一只手。On the other hand, if they throw rock and lose, they will probably move to the next action in the sequence, which means they are going to play paper. Okay? But this is for Americans, where we say rock, paper, scissors.
没错。
Okay, in Taiwan you say 剪刀石头布。
顺序有点不一样。
顺序不一样。
对。
So you have to remember who you're playing with. Yeah. So if they throw rock and lose, they will probably move to paper, which means they are going to play paper. Usually, they will probably move to the next action, the next movement in the sequence.
顺序上的下一个。
Yeah, that we're used to.
对。这里呢，其实有点复杂。他就说呢，另一方面，如果呢，你出石头，然后你输的话，他们可能呢会在下一轮的时候出石头的下一个来当做他们的策略。如果外国人他们是用石头布剪刀嘛，对不对？所以石头的下一个呢是布。所以如果他们出石头输了呢，那他们下一轮呢就很可能会出布。
那你跟我玩没有用 ，because I grew up saying rock, paper, scissors. I came to Taiwan and they said paper, scissors, stone.
对。
And then in Chinese, they say 剪刀石头布, which means in my brain, I don't know which one is which.
That's why you always play
I don't know the sequence. So I'm just like...
出剪刀。我们两个都在想出剪刀。
Yeah. All right. We'll be right back with the next paragraph in the article. Okay, so we've learned win, stay, lose, shift. That's the first principle, okay, to maybe win more games of rock, paper, scissors. Okay, another winning strategy is to throw paper when you face an inexperienced player. So they say if you are facing a player who they're not very good at this, probably like me.
但是不准
Yeah, but they say if you are facing an inexperienced, now what does experience mean? Experience is 经验, right? So experienced with an ed means 有经验的. In experience means they don't have experience.
没错。
So when you face a player with no experience, they say, throw paper.
Now I'm curious. 这里就是他就说，另外一个你可以赢的这个策略呢，就是说，如果你的对手呢是很弱的，那同学注意 inexperienced 那个 ed 发 t 哦。如果那个对手没有什么经验的话呢，你就出布就对了。
Why? Well, according to this, okay, most of the inexperienced players start by playing rock or stone.
对。
Because their hands are already shaped like a rock before the game begins.
That actually makes a little bit of sense.
So when you first start, you go...
太紧张吗？
Yeah.
无法舒展，握太紧。
So that's usually the first one they'll play is stone.
那我们可以知道你不是 inexperienced， 因为你的手是可以很
No, 那个就是我整个脑袋就是乱，
乱的，
乱 ，Yeah，
所以完全无法预测。
Yeah, I'm just a little crazy, so.
对啊，他就说 很多人呢
Okay, so most of them start by playing stone because their hand already is in the stone shape.
没错没错，他就说很多人其实刚开始呢会出石头，为什么？因为你的手啊，刚开始的时候你就是用石头这样子去握着嘛，对不对？所以这个是最简单的。
Maybe because I always do scissors first because I'm thinking 剪刀石头布 but I'm still thinking 剪刀石
反应比较还没反应过来。
Maybe, yeah. Okay, so inexperienced players, they say use rock.
就这样
Also, in English, because the name of the game starts with rock, it's often the first choice that comes to their mind.
That makes sense. Actually.
So what did I just say?
剪刀嘛，对不对？
The first word that's in my mind is 剪刀 is scissors.
对，所以你已经被台湾化了。
So I always do scissors.
没错，我也觉得应该是这样。
So the name of the game starts with rock in English, rock, paper, scissors. So it's often the first choice that comes to their mind. When we say something comes to your mind, the first thing you think of.
没错。那同学要记得 comes to one's mind, something comes to your mind, and you think of something. 人当主词，我们要 think of 东西是 comes to one's mind. 他就说呢，这个 since 不是自从，是因为呢这个名字在英文里面呢，它是石头开始的，所以呢，通常大家想到的时候，我第一个想出什么啊？石头啊，就石头。对，应该是这样。
Yeah. So now you know that I'm actually an inexperienced player.
因为他一直是剪刀石头布，我就想要剪刀。对。那我这样我也是。
Or the next one, I'm like 剪刀石头布 because I said 布。Yeah, so maybe for me, rock is the least one I would use.
可能是我觉得。
Yeah.
没错。
So there is some psychological, it makes sense.
But it's too complicated to predict.
Yeah. Okay, are you ready? We're going to have the final strategy right after this. Okay, are you ready?
Ready.
The final strategy is to psychologically control your opponents. Okay, psychologically means, messing with people's brains.
Right, mind games.
Yeah, mind games. So, how do you psychologically control your opponent?
对，这就是我们要找到的。我觉得你应该不行，我觉得你脑袋太乱了，所以我觉得这个 strategy 我自己看都觉得好难哦。
No, for me, I would just think it's a silly game. It's a silly game. I don't really care that much.
没有胜负欲啦。
Yeah.
就不想。
Yeah, I would use psychological thing for other things, but not for
this
game.
one.
Not for a game. No, I don't care that much.
You don't want to waste your psychological brain power on that.
Yeah.
对，他就说最后一个方式其实就是你透过心理的操纵呢，来达到赢剪刀石头布这个目的。
Yeah. Okay. For example, an example of psychologically controlling your opponents, you can tell them that you will play rock and do exactly what you say. I'm going to play rock.
所以这个第一步呢，就举例来说，你可以跟他们说，我等一下呢，我就要出石头，然后呢，你等一下也真的出石头。
Yeah. So you lost on purpose, right? If they believe you.
如果他们相信你的话。
Yeah. Okay. But most people will think, yeah, you're trying to play with me.
你一定骗我。
Yeah. And now, but really, when you start saying things like that, if people start thinking about it, it will make them wonder. Right? You're starting to distract them.
You're also distracting yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can tell them you'll play rock and then do exactly what you say. You play rock. It's very likely, okay, this means there's a good chance.
没错。
It's very likely that they won't expect you to be that fearless and honest. Okay, fearless just means have no fear. I'm not afraid of losing.
无畏的。
So fearless. and honest. So they may throw rock or scissors. Okay? You say rock, they may throw rock or scissors because they think, he's not going to play rock.
但这个还要再想一下，对方到底在想什么，然后想说，那我要出什么才会赢他？ 我觉得太复杂，我觉得我
So this is playing with someone who has experience.
没错。
They're like, he might throw up, maybe, maybe not.
我觉得我们两个都会失败，我们等一下可以来试一次。
I think we don't care enough about the game to
我觉得有可能，就是你要想，然后就觉得好麻烦哦，就不想了。
Yeah, I'm just like, I have other things I care about so much more that I think about.
哦，
Yeah.
对。
Okay. So this might work.
OK， 然后这里呢，他就说到，他非常可能。那这里我们用 it 开头，同学要注意用 it 开头的话，他后面要用 that， 不是用 to 哦。他就说非常可能的呢，这些人的对手啊，不会想说呢，你会这么不害怕，这么诚实，所以他们就会想说，你绝对不会出石头。你说石头绝对不是石头，所以他们可能会出石头或剪刀，想要来跟你来个心理的博弈吧。
Yeah. After arming yourself with these techniques, you can greatly improve your chances of winning the game. Okay, to arm yourself. Okay, another word we use, arms. Arms is our, so
手柄，
but arms are weapons.
军火武器。
Yeah. So to arm yourself means to give yourself a weapon.
In metaphorical sense. And also
because here you're arming yourself with techniques. Okay, a technique, a way of using a skill.
技巧。
Yeah. So after arming yourself with this technique, according to this, you can greatly improve your chances of winning the game, rock, paper, scissors.
他就说呢，这里还蛮有趣。他说 arm 就使谁具备有什么东西，就是让你自己具备有呢这些技巧的话，其实你可以大大的提高你在这个剪刀石头布的胜率。
Okay, so maybe let's play again. I'm going to throw a rock.
Scissors.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors. Yeah! Seems like I'm a better mind manipulator.
And I lied. I didn't say rock. Or I said I was going to throw rock, and I didn't.
I also lied.
But I should have. No, you said scissors.
Oh, I say scissors?
and I thought, oh, she's going to throw rock, and so I'm going to do scissors. I'm going to do paper on purpose. Yeah. So
it's tough.
The mind game worked on me, but I was trying to play it on her.
So that worked.
Yeah. 我不玩这个游戏。That's all the time we have for today. Bye.